Hello, Indy.
Hello, David.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, tell me a little bit about Sweden and you working here.
Okay.
Why Sweden?
I will have lived here 20 years come February, so that's a long time. And I am from Houston, Texas originally. Now I left Texas in '85, I left the States in '92, and between leaving the States and coming to Sweden, I lived in Prague, Budapest, Istanbul, London, and Edinburgh, all exciting 24-hour cities. And in the winter of 1996, I came from Edinburgh to Stockholm because I had several friends that I had worked with there that lived here, and I thought I'd be here 2 weeks. And 2 weeks became 3 weeks, and 3 weeks has become 19 and a half years. I love it here, great town.
And what do you love about Stockholm?
I like the pace of life. I mean, it's, you know, if you look around, like you've been here for a day, it doesn't feel like you're in a big city, but it is, it's millions of people live here, but it feels like it's a small town, you know. Everything seems really local and it's very stress-free. So all of the things I like to do, to write and to act and play music and things like that, are so easy to get done here. You know, I have so much more freedom here than I think I would have, well, certainly than I had when I was living in New York or London or anything. There's so much you have to worry about in a much faster-paced city like that. So I do like it here very much.
Yeah, do you have a favorite place here in Stockholm?
I like my neighborhood a lot. I live just outside of Sofo is the name of the neighborhood. And it's changed a lot in the last 20 years. It's gotten really gentrified and trendy, but it's still really cool even in spite of, you know, much of the stuff like that. And the old town is really pretty. I'll show you some of the old town soon.
Looking forward to that. Can you speak Swedish?
Jo, det kan jag. Jag vet inte vad jag ska säga nu, men jag ska säga något till alla mina svenska vänner där ute. Hejsan, tack för att ni är mina fans. Och jag är väldigt glad att ni gillar min kanal, helt enkelt.
So you studied history, right?
I did. I studied history at Wesleyan University. Although I studied several periods, my main focus was Renaissance and medieval European history. And my honors thesis was called Fear, Religion, and Popular Disillusion in Europe in the 1350s following the Black Death. It had a lot to do with not so much the plague itself, but a lot of the immediate social and cultural changes, particularly the loss of status of the Catholic Church.
Okay. Were you born and raised in Texas?
I was raised in Texas. I was born in Pennsylvania, but I was 9 months old when my family moved down to Houston, so I only know Houston.
Ah, okay.
And I lived there until I was 17 and went to college.
How come that you, like, as a kid, you thought, yeah, history is cool, or like?
Yeah, totally. Even when I was a very little kid, there's 5 kids in my family, and we were all born in like 6 years. So, you know, we were all together. I was the only one that was really interested in books and history, and my mother's father, who's British, he used to give me like biographies and history books as Christmas presents, even when I was like 9 or 10 years old. Which, you know, I wanted toys like my brothers and sisters got, but I always read the books because I was always fascinated by history. And I studied it at the university level, even though I was not planning on working with history. I mean, even then I was acting and playing music, and those are the things I wanted to do. I wanted to have a good degree though, and history was it was just what I enjoyed. It was my hobby. And most people, like, it would be their career and music and theater would be their hobby. Me, it was the other way around.
All right. So how come did you end up in the show, The Great War?
Well, I think it was March last year, March 2014, I sat down in a room with a man named Spartacus Olson, so Indiana and Spartacus. And he's an old friend of mine, but he's one of the people that runs the YouTube network Mediacraft that you guys work for. And we sat down, I happened to be in Germany, and we sat down and we're just brainstorming ideas for channels which we thought might be successful and take off. And I don't even remember which one of us specifically said, how about, you know, it's almost 100 years since the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, how about something that's like World War I Weekly, which was actually what the show was going to be called. And then it was going to be called The Great War, with a question mark afterward, because it wasn't so great, you know. So that was it. And this was the only one of those channels that really did take off.
Thank you very much.
This interview was shot in beautiful, sunny Stockholm, Sweden, where I live. And if you want to find out more about Sweden's history in World War I, click here for our Sweden special. If you want to see us on the road more often, help us out on Patreon, and maybe you could meet us at original World War I locations. Don't forget to subscribe.